Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you three selections for tomorrow's horse race selection. Before we get into that, I just want to reflect on how our tips have performed so far. We still have the nap to run tonight at Newcastle with Michaela's boy, so fingers crossed we can get a good run for our money there. Elsewhere, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. The next best, Cockerorum, actually ran all right at Chepstow, ran on and got the each way money to finish in third place, so that wasn't a bad result there. The other selection was my long shot of the day. Probably should have done it each way. That was pause and thought. Advertised 11-1 last night. Ran a good race, but in the end, just wasn't good enough on the day. Had every chance from where they were. Well, from Graham Lee, giving that one a good ride, but just finished in second place. So overall, mixed bag, but fingers crossed the nap can come in tonight and we can have a good day tomorrow. So three tips for tomorrow's racing. And I'm going to go my long shot of the day, which runs in the 3:45 at Chepstow. My first tip, horse called Mack the Man for Adam Wedge and Evan Williams. Currently available at 10-1. I'm going to recommend a 0.5 win only bet as my long shot of the day here. Now, Mack the Man, I actually put him up last season when he won on his seasonal reappearance at Exeter in a small field. He took a walk in the betting that day. I think I put him up at 7-2 and he won at 13. So I think he was the outsider of the field when he won. But yeah, he was a comfortable winner that day. He's a horse that's got a high cruising speed. He might not always find much under pressure, but I think the time to catch him could be fresh, and that could be tomorrow because he's actually now on a workable mark. He's off a mark of 123. He won last year for a mark of 127 at Exeter, so he's okay at the weights here. The small field should suit him as well. If he's ridden prominently, which I think he might be, I think he's got a good chance in this race. The Paul Nicholls horse, I think, is a little bit too short on reputation there, and a couple of others in here as well. The Dan Skelton horse, Playful Saint, is interesting, but coming off a long layoff, I'm not sure about him. So I do think Mack the Man tomorrow, there's a good case to be made for him. Other weights, small field, the yard are coming back into a bit of form. They had a winner today at Chepstow. So, yeah, I think he's a bit overpriced there, and it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. But he's going to be my long shot of the day. We then go to my next best, which runs in the 3:55 at Nottingham with a horse called Prince Imperial for Pat Cosgrave and Richard Hughes. Currently available at 4-1. I'm going to recommend a 1-point win bet here. Now, this horse, Prince Imperial, you have to put a line for his latest run where he was below par in the Cesarovich. Easy to overlook that run. If you go back the time before that, though, he finished second in the Cesarovich trials, and if he's up to that standard, he's a big player in this race. He's only £1 below, above, I should say, his last winning mark, which came at Ayr last year. He was very progressive on the flat last year, especially over staying trips, and I do think he's a horse that will be benefited by this small field. He's got a good record in them. He's quite uncomplicated as well in these small fields. He's normally ridden prominently, and if he is tomorrow, I think he's definitely up for going very close in this race. Pat Cosgrave returns as well, which is a positive. He's got a good relationship on this horse, and I think he's got a good chance, and it'll be interesting to see how the market reacts to him tomorrow. But I think on form anyway, if I was pricing him up, I'll probably have him around about 9-4, 2-1 kind of chance. So Prince Imperial is going to be my next best today. We then go to the nap for the all-weather action at Kempton in the 7:30. Knightswood here for Richard Kingscote and Charlie and Mark Johnson, currently available at 7-2. Going to recommend a 1-point win bet here. Now, I was struggling to see a pace angle in here, and I just think it could set up quite well for Knightswood, who's been holding his form really well this year in some competitive handicaps. He's lightly tried on the all-weather, only one previous start, but he didn't disgrace himself when finishing third at this venue, so we know he handles the track. If he gets an easy time on the lead of things tomorrow, I think he could be a horse that just might have too much for him, and he could just stack him up. So, yeah, if Richard Kingscote can get a good position tomorrow, I think he's more than capable of winning off this mark. I'm quite keen with him there. And I thought, again, he was a little bit of the wrong price at 7-2, so that's why he's going to be my nap of the day. So they're the three selections then for tomorrow's racing. If you're enjoying these videos, remember to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe here to the YouTube channel at Lucky Loaders 15. Please remember to gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you again soon.